IELTS Speaking Mock Test or the IELTS Speaking Online Test Simulation. My name is Andrian. I am an English instructor with more than 10 years of experience, and I'm going to do this IELTS online simulation, IELTS Speaking Online Simulation with one of the participants at IELTS Speaking IELTS preparation class. And we will start. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. This is the International English Language Testing System held at UPI Language Center on June 16 at 5 a.m. The examiner is Andrian Permadi, and I'm currently with candidate number 1. May I know your name?
My name is Arif Hidayat. Do I have to spell it?
Yes.
Arifhidayat.
Yeah, and we will begin with the IELTS speaking test. Let's talk about your childhood. Did you enjoy your childhood?
I did in some parts, especially my session with my mom, because other parts I don't really remember.
What did you enjoy doing as a child?
The most part that I really enjoy in my childhood is living together with my siblings. We have 4 brothers and sisters. Four brothers. I have 1 brother and 2 sisters. The most enjoy part is we do many things together, such as go to the small creek near the house and etc.
All right. Did you have a lot of friends when you were a child?
Since we were living in a small village, so we can say all children in that village is our friends. Okay. So I can say we have a lot.
Okay, great. What do you miss most about being a child?
This is hard questions. I was grown up with a single parent with my mom, so the most part that I really missed is my father in that situation.
What was your favorite toy when you were a child?
I can find out the name today, but it's made of wood, and then we designed this wood to be kind of the you have to throw it and then you have to catch it. We call it tokle, but it's made of the wood. That's my really favorite toys when I was a kid.
Yes. Is it important for children to have fun? Why?
My point of view, yes, definitely, it is very important. When a child grown up in a fun situation, I do believe they can optimize their development, and if they have a good facilitation to grow up in a fun situation, I think they will do the same when they were adult, and I mean do the same in for kids when they were in adult.
Okay. What was the best thing about your childhood?
My best part in my childhood is following my mother go to the market, and after coming back to the market, we have a lot of toys and foods. That's really my favorite part.
Right. Do you think it is better for children to grow up in a city or in a countryside?
Well, I don't want to defend city or countryside is much better than each other. Whenever in city or countryside, the most important part for growing children is their parents. Only if children surrounded by their very complete family, harmony, parents, father and mother, I think that's the best. No matter if they have to grow up in the countryside or in the downtown.
Okay, great. Let's proceed to the next part of the test. In this
Okay.
part of the test, you will have 1 to 2 minutes to give a short talk. Before the talk, you will have 1 minute to write some notes. I believe you have your pen and note with you. Yes, and I will now share screen the cue card.
Okay.
On my mark, you may start writing now. And time is up. Right. Now you will have 1 to 2 minutes to give a short talk. You may start now.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I would like to describe an enjoyable childhood memory. I have to say that this part is almost every day happened when I was a kid, that we went to the mosque for praying, especially for the praying around 6 until 7 p.m. What really happy is what really happy was we went there together with my brother and also my neighbor, and the distance is quite far away. Let's say around around 1.7 kilometers, and the situation is we just went there and then do the praying, and then before among the praying we are allowed to play around the mosque. That's what exactly happened. And something that really happy, and I feel this is most the happy childhood memory, is it happens again and again almost every day. And the situation is that's the only part for me as a child to be allowed to go out in the night by the parents. And many things we can do in very that short time, around 1 until 1.5 hours, with my brothers and also my neighbors. And we feel that when we play in that place, we feel safe being surrounded by adults, reciting Quran, meanwhile we kids playing around. So when we come back home, we still talk each other and then playing. So I think this is most, this is the happiest childhood memory for me.
Great job. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I will now stop share. Right. Let's proceed to the next part of the test. Right. We have talked about childhood memory. Now let's talk more about childhood or children in general. Yeah. The first question is it important for a child to have a lot of toys in order to be happy?
What I'm thinking about toys is which we can say more important or not for children is it depends on the function of the toys. If the toys is just a function for the playing for children, I don't think it is important to have a lot of toys for children. But if parents provided toys as a media for educational purposes, I think the toys now become not only important but also essential for children. So my point of view is seeing toys, whether it's just toys for playing or toys for educational purposes. If the toys is for the second part, I really say that it is really important, even it is essential for children development.
What is more important for child's happiness? Many toys or many friends?
Definitely, I will choose many friends. It's a living bodies rather than toys, which is not living, even though we can say this is living toys, but not exactly living. I choose that with many friends since they can make a bonding or make small collaboration or get insight or playing each other, knowing each other. They can learn how to become somebody in a society uh, rather than more focusing on the toys.
Do you think that children these days have a better or worse childhood than your generation? Why?
Say my opinion is a better childhood in terms of exposure of the technology. Of course, in my era is very limited, but in this era, for especially for kids, they have a lot of exposure for technology, also, and also interact with English, with the gadgets or with some electronic devices. In some situation, this is good for their literate to prepare their future. So my point of view, just according to the interaction with the digital technology, this generation is much better. But other part, I have different opinion, I think.
That is the end of the IELTS speaking mock test or the IELTS online speaking simulation. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Now, I would like to provide you with my general feedback.
Oh, you're most welcome.
Yes, further feedback will be provided in written form, but now I would like to provide a general feedback. Yeah? I'm going to share screen now.
Yep.
Okay. I believe you are familiar with the IELTS speaking descriptors, fluency and coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, pronunciation, and pronunciation. However, I have one other criterion, which is how well do candidates answer the questions, or do candidates fully or partially answer the questions? Okay, for this part, I firmly believe that you answer all questions. Yeah, from my notes, I could see that you were able to, in general, you could able to answer the question in detail. So the assessment was you were fully answering the questions. Yeah. And not only that, you are actually providing answers with flexibility. So you are not only providing answers similar to what we usually use in daily context. Did you enjoy your childhood? Some people would say, yes, I did. No, I didn't. But you said, I did in some parts of my childhood. So it is called flexibility in answering questions, right? So that's your strength, actually. And the majority of the questions were answered with good flexibility, considering that your answers were straightforward, but with different structuring. Yeah. One of the example is, what do you miss about being a child? This is a hard question. That's a very good prologue, actually, in addressing the questions, right? And then you said, my grammar were not good here because I was typing really fast. The most part was because the hardest part was my father, actually, blah, blah, blah. So that was a good flexibility again. From your answers, I could say that you have good flexibility in lexical resource or vocabularies, right? One of which is not only that you didn't only say yes or no, you use other expressions such as definitely. So that's a flexibility in using vocabulary, right? A lot of people can say yes or no, but not a lot of people can use other vocabulary such as definitely, absolutely, so on and so forth. Okay. So no significant issues in part one. I would only say that an area of improvement is about collocation or word form. Yes. For example, food, you pronounce it foods, right? It is an uncountable noun, so there is no S, whether it is singular or plural. Okay. Small details, but very small. Okay. And also when you combine words or collocation, I could still hear some influence of your native language, which is Indonesian. harmony parent, right? So that's not a very common phrase in English, right? You were trying to say that you had you had a very your parents had good relationship, yeah. So not your parent, I mean you were trying to say that it is better for children to grow up with parents that have good relationship among each other.
Or maybe happy family.
Happy family or
Yeah.
harmonious, but that's not very common in English actually. Yeah,
Okay.
happy family is much more suitable. Okay, right. Proceeding to part 2, you answer all statement as well with good flexibility. And all statements were answered, right? It lasted for 1 minute and 42 seconds. Actually, the minimum time is 1 minute and the maximum time is 2 minutes. And that's suitable actually just to be in the middle. If you go over than 2 minutes, it is still okay as well. Based on my experiences, the examiner will just not remind you, but give you some clue if the time is up. But the time was suffice, it was suitable, right? Again, probably an area of improvement is the word ordering. Yeah? The most happy childhood memory or the happiest childhood, yeah, or the happiest childhood memory. So just a small area of improvement. Good flexibility as well in part 3, a lot of elaboration, extension. You extended and you expand your explanations, and in the same time, you still answer the questions. One thing that I would like to notice is about your strength is this is a very challenging question. Yeah. Do you think children these days have a better or worse childhood than your generation? And you said exposure to technology, I would say it is much better, but you explain the other side of having a worse childhood. So in my point of view, that's a very challenging way to explain if you explain two sides. And I rarely advise my students to explain two sides because one of which is it will be a boomerang for them, if I may say so, because it will be harder to explain. But in this question, you were able to explain both sides. So that's one of your strengths as well. So for my very brief analysis, it's around 8 for my brief analysis based on my experiences. I mean, Arif. So yeah, you have a very good speaking skill. And if you manage to improve your skill, hopefully it will be more than that, yeah, on your official test. And I guess that is all. Thank you very much for doing
Thank you
this
so much.
online speaking interview. And I'll see you next time. Yeah.
Yeah. See you. Thank you so much, Mr.
Yeah.
Andrian.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.